Hi Scorpio, welcome to your mid-August 2020 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. So, back to basics with the Rider-Waite deck. And just starting over again, I laid out all the cards and really hadn't even started the reading, so no biggie. The heart of the matter is the Three of Cups. By the way, this is a card of celebration and social interaction. It's a very lighthearted card, so it might mean that, especially in the Northern Hemisphere, as we are winding down the summer that never was, I think most people would agree, even though you might have gotten out and about and enjoyed the weather, you might have felt a little bit hamstrung, to say the least. But August is a time, and I notice this myself, especially as you get older and you just kind of put everything off, or you're busy with other things, that you're like, oh man, this is starting to fade here, so we better do something. So you might be doing social things and all that kind of good stuff. One thing that I wanted to note in general is talking about the aftermath of that full moon in Aquarius. I did not see that one coming. Although I will say that before it happened, I did feel a strange intensity, and I said, oh yeah, well, it's a full moon. But I said, well, it's a full moon in Aquarius, so that should be pretty chill, if you will, for as far as full moons go. If it was a full moon in Scorpio, then I would have been totally expecting what happened, which was a lot of emotional stuff. And for me, it wasn't even hitting a water house or anything like that. So I'm just curious how it affected the average Scorpio person. Did you feel a sense of emotions coming up, especially around the past, because this would have hit your fourth house of home and family? Well, I think most of you, perhaps some of you in your third house, but still that could be family members as well. So I was just reading online and stuff like that, and it seems like that was a big deal, or hearing other people talk about it. So anyway, just wanted to bring that up. And maybe there is some celebration that is specific to you if you got a job increase. Well, King of Cups is the past position, so maybe this has something to do with the celebration. If you are getting hitched or moving in with somebody that is a fellow water sign, but at least, if they're not a sun in water, they have that astrological signature where they are very caring. Or it could simply be that they are very caring, regardless of what signs they have or configuration. And that may feel really good that you finally have somebody who gets you, after maybe relationships with people who thought, oh, this person is too emotional, or they just keep talking about the past, or they're always analyzing me. I'm thinking of Scorpio. You're a great psychologist. So this person may be more of your kind of individual in terms of a romantic relationship with, and that would be great. If it's something to do with having a child, then that as well. Becoming a parent, in other words. And yeah, so I'm going to just leave it there, because I don't have to get too caught up in that. And the higher message, sorry, believe me, I'm going to get a whatchamacallit pretty soon, tripod, because it's like I gotta go like this. The Eight of Swords, or the Eight of Wands, is a card of a lot of action kind of happening. Maybe there was some stagnant energy, and now all of a sudden everything is rocking and rolling. Now, as a higher message, especially for a sign like Scorpio, it's about being ready for sudden developments, because you're a fixed sign, and you may like things to be kind of predictable, manageable, because you think that you have to have everything predictable in order for you to manage your life and things like that. And if everything is kind of like moving at a fast clip, you might feel that it's too fast and it's too sudden. So being able to anticipate that, because yeah, I mean, the Five of Cups, I didn't say this, I was thinking something like this. If you have recently gotten a job, and the person who either recommended you or this is your new boss could be the King of Cups, and this could be a very compassionate individual in a position of authority. When I see kings or queens, I think of people who are movers and shakers. And maybe that's what you're celebrating, a new job. But what's even better is that you have this person in your life who is going to be a real advocate for you. They're not coming from this place of how much money can you make me. Or maybe even the King of Cups might even be like a counselor who has allowed you to learn how to trust, or a spiritual advisor, something like that. And the thing about the Eight of Wands is that you have to be willing to go with the flow, so that when opportunity arises, you're there, and that you're not just hanging back and you're still afraid. Because that's part of what trust, doing work on trust entails. Not just trusting individuals, but trusting the process of when something good comes to you, that you jump on it, that you don't second guess it. Because, you know, they say haste makes waste. What crosses you is the Four of Cups. This is a card of feeling dissatisfied with emotionally in your life in some way. Maybe your career life is going great and your personal life sucks, or vice versa. I have this new deck called the Lightseers Tarot. You might have seen it. I did a weekly reading with it recently. And the booklet that comes along with it is really nice. And I was looking at the Four of Cups, because that card always kind of baffles me, because I know there has to be a good side to the Four of Cups, and there actually is. But you don't see that in the depiction. You see kind of like, when somebody crosses their arms, they're not really that enthused, right? So that kind of gives me that vibe. And the person who created this deck calls the Four of Cups, one of the key phrases she uses is being a brat. And I thought, that's perfect, being a little brat. But I don't really like, calling people brats, because I know that there's a reason behind why people feel dissatisfied. But I really liked her interpretation, because I think what she means is not being grateful. And that is kind of a bratty attitude, like feeling the sense of entitlement to the degree where it's like you don't see the good that is right under your nose. Excuse me. But I think that in this context, it's like one aspect of your life is great and the other one is not so great. And because you're a water sign, but especially a Scorpio, it's like, I often say that I feel that Scorpios are very extreme, and so you either are on board or you're disinterested. And I feel like, I'm just thinking in terms of my interactions with people, is like when I'm dealing with somebody and they are like totally disinterested, unplugged from me, I probably should assume that they have like some Scorpio prominent in their character. But, even those of us with the sun in the 8th house might be similar in a lot of ways. Where it's like you're either all in or it's like whatever. I could not care less. Or is it, yeah, I couldn't care less. So, gratitude. Don't kind of focus on that area that you still feel this sense of dissatisfaction. Yes, things need to change in that area, but first things first. So being happy for the things that are working well. Oh, interesting. I don't even pay attention when I'm pulling these cards a lot of times. So what's coming in is the 5 of Cups. This is a card of mourning, the loss of something. So maybe that's why the 4 of Cups exists, is that you are actually still in the process of integrating feelings that relate to a great sense of disappointment or loss. With a full moon in either the 3rd or 4th house recently, this may have been the loss of either a sibling or a mother, especially, although sometimes people say the 4th house is the father. So a close family member, we can just boil it down to. Even aunts and uncles can be the 3rd house. Now, this would have been the past, so don't freak out and think that I'm talking about anything in the future. And of course, not everybody who has the full moon in either the 3rd or 4th house is going to lose somebody close to them. But if this is something that, if you're having a celebration and yet there is this sadness in the midst of it, that's okay. And this is a time, maybe you were celebrating a pregnancy, but at the same time you lost somebody close to you, and you felt like this sense of like, I'm, celebrating the new life coming in, and here is this person who has, left this earth. How can I even, reconcile that? And it is, it's not easy. And I have been reading about people who have lost loved ones and recently, and it's never easy. So if that has been true for you, I'm sorry for your loss. Other possibilities are, related to job losses too. There's been a lot of loss, but you know what? That is one of the things that is an interesting phenomenon about life, is that you never know what is going to come in on the heels of that loss. It could be absolutely amazing. And I'm speaking from personal experience. And from the personal experience of thinking that no way, no how is anything going to make up for such and such. And of course you can't replace human beings, and I'm not trying to suggest that, but something glorious coming in. So please have faith that everything is not lost, that you're going to gain much more than you ever dreamed possible. The outcome is the 6 of Cups, which is a very sentimental card. So you might be very absorbed with family in the past right now, coming on the heels of that full moon in Aquarius. Scorpio, this is the card of children. So there's I was interpreting that 3 of Cups in that way, even though it's not necessarily about that. I'm learning to trust myself more and just talk about things how I feel. And this is also about innocence. And I would say childhood dreams, soulmates, people who are meant to be in your life that you may have reunited with, and those kinds of things. And it kind of is like coming full circle in a way, where you might have lived and had certain experiences, certain gains and losses, and then you're touching base with the past in some way. And I even think for some people, a celebration may lead to a very quick kind of a courtship. If people, that sounds like so like antiquated to say something like that, because courting, that sounds like even before I was born that people used to talk like that. But yeah, just that kind of getting together with somebody that you have a history with. This can also be in terms of creative. There's a lot of this creative energy around you with all these cups, Scorpio. So whether that's a child or simply spiritual matters, but artistic things. And if you have been artistically inclined since childhood, then you might want to honor that, because with the Four of Cups, even like in the challenge position, it can feel like such inertia, like you're in such an emotional rut that you need to kind of get out of that phase by being able to embrace your dreams. But this might be like a long held dream that you kind of push to the side. So in any case, I hope that you enjoyed this and resonated with it to some degree or another. If you'd like a private reading, I have a special going on right now. I started this at the beginning of the year, or maybe it was the end of last year, I wanted to have a reading that combined, that were full-length readings, because sometimes people, they can't choose between which kind of reading they want, and I always recommend the natal chart, because to me it's more specific for the type of way that I read. I see the tarot as very symbolic, but I think they both have their merits, And so it's two full-length readings for a special price. It's called the Whole Enchilada, and I have, just individual types of readings too. So you can check the link below. That takes you to the page which explains what each reading entails. And thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I appreciate when people comment and let me know what's going on with them. And have a great rest of August. Well, I'm going to be back for a late August recap. So take care of yourselves. Bye.